I'm finding I got to do a virtual background in something.
Oh, related to this?
Yeah. Oh, I don't have my hard drive plugged in. Damn it. I actually have tons of pictures of like the mountains around Granite Falls.
Oh yes, 'cause it's a real place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to look up some, because Granite Falls, it's near in Washington somewhere, near Seattle.
Yeah. It's just a little northeast of Seattle.
Oh.
It's the Cascade Mountains behind me.
Oh.
Just outside of
lovely.
Granite Falls there.
Have you ever been to Granite Falls?
Yeah, plenty of times. There's nothing there. So it's just a really tiny little town. You basically, so to go into the Snoqualmie Mount Baker National Forest, if you want to go hiking or camping, you kind of have to drive through Granite Falls. And in Granite Falls, if you for watching this film, you saw all there is of Granite Falls. Like there's a couple little restaurants, a couple little shops, and that's it. It's growing. They've added a lot over the past few years. But it's the meth capital of Washington State. It's where all the meth is made.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, is it made in the film? Is it made look depressing? Do you know, is the actual place really nice, but it's just for the film?
No,
it's
like
depressing.
that. It's accurate. Yeah,
really?
She picked. Yeah, it is. It's most people that live in Granite Falls move away from Granite Falls, and I shouldn't rip on it too much. It might have changed. They have cleaned it up a lot. Because now it's so expensive to live in Seattle, people are actually having to live in the areas outside of Seattle. So it's getting nicer, and it might not be the meth capital anymore. Maybe they cleaned all that up too. But the way it's all rural like that, and so you got these just like little one-story houses. So like that house that the girl was, building her stuff in. So they're all just kind of these houses surrounded by trees with nothing else around them, and so you can make your meth and not have to worry about your neighbors catching you or anything like that, or the house that the main people live in.
So is that what they call as we say, maths? Is that what they call it, math class?
No. No.
Okay. That's extracurricular.
Yeah.
You get bonus points for that.
That's where that's where you learn to make your meth, is your math
exactly
class.
Yeah.
Your meth class.
Okay.
Welcome to the No Budget Independent Filmcast, where we dip our toes into the independent movies so you don't have to. Will you agree with our guests? No, not agree with our guests. Will you agree with us? Or will we agree with each other? Tune in to find out. Almost got it memorized.
Yeah.
I am Milo Dennison. With me is Claire Milan.
Hello. Is that cheery enough for you?
Yay! Good job.
Hey, I'm back. Cheery me's back. Yeah, it was lovely sunny today. It was like 26 degrees, I think, in the Midlands.
Oh,
so,
nice. So that's probably upper mid
so
70s. Yeah. The sun, the vitamin D gave you energy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, I saw you posted something like a picture of your feet or something like that on your sitting in the backyard.
Still lockdown. Yeah. I was enjoying an ice cream earlier outside, pretending I was on holidays. So yeah.
And with Claire and myself is Cathal Feeney.
Hello.
All right, that was good enough.
Thank you.
I liked Claire's was much more enthusiastic. She waved both her hands around.
I know. I didn't want to take her limelight away.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Today we are reviewing a film called Inside Out, and it is by
No, it's not.
Outside
it's
In.
Called Outside In. Inside Out is a Disney
It's
film.
the sequel.
Sorry, it is called Outside In. And it is by Lynn Shelton. And we chose this film for a reason, and that is that Lynn Shelton passed away last month. And we wanted to do one of her films for kind of in honor of that. And Outside In happened to be the only film of hers that was available on Netflix that we could watch. So we kind of went with that. And the film is basically an ex-con gets out of jail. He'd been in jail for roughly 20 years, and he's kind of got to get back to his life. And he lives in a little town northeast of Seattle called Granite Falls. and his former teacher was really instrumental in getting him out of jail. And it's just kind of his readjustment into life. He develops feelings for his teacher. So there's kind of that going on. So it's, that's pretty much the film. Guy gets out of jail, falls for his teacher. Teacher has to make some decisions. Teacher has a daughter.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? I didn't know this until I looked up afterwards, but Eddie Falco's in it from Sopranos fame and Nurse Jackie. But also the lead in it is Jay Duplass, who is, anyone know Mark Duplass, the Duplass brothers?
Yeah, he's the other Duplass brother. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's the other Duplass brother. But Jay Duplass, he actually co-wrote it with Lynn Shelton as well, which is, him and his brother seem to be a powerhouse. Like they're authors, they're musicians, actors, writers. So it's just really impressive. I just find that very impressive afterwards. It's what I describe it as, it's a sleepy rural American drama. I have to admit, I did fall asleep in the middle of it for 10 minutes. I'm so sorry, because I was kind of tired and I watched it. And sometimes films, when I say it's sleepy rural American drama, it really is. There's a slow pacing to it, and you have to be in a certain mood to watch it. Yeah, so apologies, I probably missed 10 minutes or so.
You woke up and wrote sleepy.
But it's and it's quite it's 1 hour 40 minutes, I think.
Yeah, it's not super long.
But it's I love Caitlin Dever. She's in Unbelievable. She's the daughter in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it premiered in Toronto International Film Festival in 2017. It's a type of film I think you have to be in a certain mood for. It got really good reviews, but for me, the script was brilliant. Like if you analyze the script, and the acting was really, really good as well. But it did make me fall asleep. And it's I think I don't know, it wouldn't exactly be my type of film. I don't know.
Yeah, it does have very slow pacing. So you definitely have to be in the right mood for this particular film.
Yeah. But if I started listening to the dialogue of it, and if I could imagine the script, and it is really, really well written. But it is a type of film that you would see in a film festival, and you'd go to it maybe and you'd really enjoy it. But if you're sitting at home watching it on Netflix, I think you wouldn't. It's hard to enjoy it, if you know what I mean. I'd say it's the type of film you'd love to go for like an afternoon on a Sunday, surrounded by people to see it. It's one of those type of films.
Yeah, I agree. This is definitely a film festival film. I didn't think of that until you said that, but you're absolutely right. If I saw this at a film festival, I'd probably be like, wow, that was a good film. But sitting and watching it at home, you definitely have a different view of it. It is interesting because it is really well cast, because the daughter, Caitlin Dever. Caitlin. Yeah, so she was in a TV series called Justified. That was a really brilliant TV series, and she played a girl in that. And it was funny when I watched this, I was like, I recognize her, and it took me a while to figure out where it was. And then same for Edie Falco, famous from Sopranos and a bunch of other stuff. Both Duplass brothers, by the way, have been in multiple films of Lynn Shelton, so they definitely had a good working relationship between them.
It's very sad. So I happened to look up Caitlin Dever's Twitter, and she posted up a lovely tribute to Lynn Shelton, and she posted up a video of her dancing with Lynn Shelton as well. So she seemed like a really lovely director. So and it was just, it's so desperately sad. So I hadn't heard of Lynn Shelton before you mentioned her, but she directed films I've seen, or series I've seen, like Glow, and I saw a series last week. I watched it, A Little Fires Everywhere, with Reese Witherspoon. So she directed some of those episodes as well. But you can see there's really good directing in this film. Like you have to really, like I was kind of it's a film to be analyzed. If you're like a film student or something, it's a really good film to be analyzed, because you can see the framing of certain shots and scenes and the script. And I did love the relationship between Eddie Falco's character and Jay Duplass's character. The two main, it was just there was a lovely kind of chemistry between them. But I did find, no spoilers or anything, but it kind of rushed towards the end. maybe it was a bit of like, oh, it was a bit, I don't know, it kind of rushed like that. Oh, that's the end. It's a tricky one for me because I just found it a bit slow. But there is a lot of merit in the directing, the acting, and the writing. But the pacing of it was very plodded along, and yeah, it wasn't.
Call, what'd you think? You haven't
Yeah. Well,
we haven't
I was actually
let you
worried
talk
about
yet,
watching
so
this
we'll
film.
let you talk now.
Pardon? Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, I was worried about watching this film because obviously she had passed away, and I didn't want to not like it, because I didn't want to say something, speak ill of the dead, as they say. But no, I did really like it actually. I get what everybody's saying. It's very kind of slow paced, low key, kind of melancholic, but I just thought it worked very well. I think it captured people's emotions very well. It captured kind of the human condition, and everything was very believable. Very well done. And obviously, I knew Eddie Falcao from. I never watched Nurse Jackie, but from The Sopranos. But actually, uh, I kind of realized, gosh, she's actually a very good actor. Um, but just looking at it, looking at the story, the plot. Um, you have this guy. Obviously, he's come out of jail after 20 years. A sort of a kind of a miscarriage of justice in some ways. But even the three main characters, they've all been affected by what happened. That by his incarceration, because obviously Eddie Falcao, her character, she's devoted a lot of time to like getting him out of jail, to the neglect of her family, and then the daughter, she's kind of collateral damage to that because she's kind of been neglected, and and obviously a man's come out of jail, so they're all kind of trying to find their way, to fit into the world. I was just, really, really nicely observed the whole thing. I really liked it.
Yeah, and especially like you talked about the performances. There's a lot of really interesting pauses in dialogue to where you're just kind of seeing these reaction shots, and that's that the performances are really coming through.
I think it leaves you with I nearly call it gritty realism. Do you know, it's style, and it nearly leaves you with a raw feeling watching the film, because I know films like this, because they're not really like, you could take this same story and give it, inverted commas, the Hollywood treatment. Do you know, you could have the big crescendo, and but 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 it's very, it's gritty realism. Like it's extremely realistic, you know. And it's funny because the setting of it just adds to it. Like if this was set in Florida or somewhere sunny, it'd be very different. But the fact it's set in the Granite Falls, which you said used to be anyway the Mets capital of the U.S.
Yeah.
But
It might
that
not be
comes
anymore,
across.
so people
Not
from
anymore.
Granite Falls don't
Not,
get offended
not
at me.
really.
Yeah.
But the young girl, she actually works in like kind of a diner slash shop, and he goes into the shop, and just even the look of the diner, you know, it's not sleek or anything. Like the girl, she's just wearing clothes as if she's out working on a farm or somewhere, but she's working in this diner, and it looks everything looks kind of run down, and you know, and the weather isn't even that nice. So again, that kind of pushes that gritty, realistic feel to it. So when you're watching it, you do it is so well acted and so well written, but it makes you feel kind of raw or something, because you're observing not a very nice situation, because the lead actor, he got falsely, or he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. He went down for 20 years, and yeah, it's again, I think if you're in a certain mood to watch it, you'll really enjoy it. But I think when I was watching it, I wasn't in a certain mood to watch it, you know.
So you both mentioned that you found it really believable. So did you guys find it? So one thing I didn't find unbelievable about it is there's a moment where the main character has kind of an opportunity to hook up with kind of a young, reasonably attractive blonde girl, and he doesn't. And I found that actually kind of not believable, to where I was like, really? Would you really go, like, because Edie Falco's character called you? Or would you, go to bed with this young blonde hottie? That was kind of the unbelievable portion that I found out of it. I mean, I guess there's an emotional aspect in regards to his emotional attachment to her.
And it was weird because that scene was just thrown in. It was like that. Actually, I do agree with you there. That scene, like, yeah, it's just, I know, it was
And
just kind
like,
of
would a
thrown. It could have
girl
been in the
really be
public.
that aggressive and
Yeah.
be like, "Hey, I know I just met you. Well, now I'm going to do this, and let's sleep together."
But
So
she did say, didn't she, at the party that she had fancied him or something, that it,
yeah,
they were,
she had a kind
and
of
they
crush
obviously
on him or
knew each other
something.
from the past. But
Mhm.
he was obviously struggling to kind of reconnect with people, because he's in a different mental space completely, and he 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 had this kind of emotional relationship with Eddie Falco for the goods of 20 years. So it was almost like a sort of a reverse Stockholm syndrome he developed. I mean, I don't know, like, if that was realistic or not, but I mean, I think they were just trying to get across his mental state, in that scene.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because think about it, in the film he's 38 and he was away for 20 years. So from when he was 18 to 38, it's crazy amount of time he lost.
Hmm.
Like, and he obviously couldn't have relationships, like, well, in jail with women.
Yeah, not the kind he
So
might have wanted to have.
you know,
Exactly. Hmm.
so he
Countries have
missed out.
conjugal rights, though, don't they? I've seen that on some films.
Yeah, but he wasn't married to anybody. I think you have to be married,
But you can get married if you want, I
I
guess.
guess.
I'm sure lots of people are writing him letters.
But if you think about the time he's missed out and all that time in life in general, so to come out, and what I thought I did really well was say mobile phones, and technology's moved on, and someone mentions Wi-Fi, and he said, "What's that?" kind of, and she wants to text him, the young girl, and he's like, "Oh, I don't think my phone has text." So that was kind of fascinating because it is true that would happen.
Yeah, in such a short period of time, we've had so many extreme advancements. Yeah, because 20 years ago, you wouldn't be like, "I'm going to text that person." You'd call them.
Well, no, there was text more than 20 years ago.
Texting kind of started around like 99 maybe 99 2000 probably because
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe,
I was
yeah.
working at
1999.
AT&T. I was in the call center actually
Yeah.
when texting kind of started up, and it was very basic, just hit your button 3 times to get the letter that you wanted type texting. And not
Oh, yeah,
every
yeah, yeah.
phone company, you couldn't text back and forth. So if you were with AT&T and the other person had Sprint, you wouldn't be able to text them. You could only text within your phone company, and then it wasn't until later that you could actually text across companies, and then actually, and so that would have been like right around 2000.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it would have been around that time. Yeah, yeah.
I know. I remember I was in school, at the time, but I remember getting my phone, the Nokia phone, and had Snake on it from that game because it's really
Yeah.
basic. I put text. Yeah, it's around 2000s or something. But no, it was like, and he looked so scruffy. The person who came out was his brother gave him a jumper to wear to go to the party, and but he. Yeah, there's one lovely moment where Eddie Falco, I won't, no spoilers or anything, but she goes up to him and she's kind of, I think she likes him, and he starts crying when he's working in the farm with all the hay.
Oh yeah.
So it's like he's held in all this tension, and when someone likes him back, and he's like releasing it. So I just thought, yeah, because imagine being put away for 20 years, you haven't committed the crime. It's
Well, I
and
mean, he
especially
wasn't
when,
completely innocent now. Let's put,
what was it?
he wasn't completely innocent,
Yeah,
but
it was wrong place, wrong time kind of
yeah, like
scenario. Yeah. Hmm.
it was obviously somebody else that uh, was the main culprit, I guess,
Yeah.
for that. But yeah, like it'd be possible to know what somebody goes through in a situation like that.
Hmm.
And I was thinking of in an Irish context, you had like the Birmingham Six and the Guildford Four. They would have been in jail a long time, and I'd say after a while, it probably psychologically it becomes more difficult to deal with. Maybe there's a kind of initial kind of euphoria when you get out and so on, but then, like, just life kind of moves on, and people are really happy for you, really glad for you, and then everybody just slips into their own lives, and you don't have a life to kind of slip into. You have to kind of rebuild something. It must be
Definitely,
really, really
especially going
difficult.
back to a small town. It's like and it's so bleak because he had to go back there really because his brother was supporting him. but it looks so bleak, you know. And then you have Eddie Falco's character who's been in that town all her life, you know, and she wants to get out. She's a horrible husband, so who it's like a loveless marriage.
You should apply for the tourist board over there.
The Granite Falls. I will say, like, we've kind of been ripping on Granite Falls. It is beautiful. Beautiful natural area, and there's though I did get a speeding ticket driving through Granite Falls, and I was barely speeding, and so I will rip on the Granite Falls Police Department, who just kind of sit there waiting for people to drive through their town to give them tickets.
I mean, it looks lovely in the picture you have there. The mountains look lovely. You know, so.
But it was well set. Like, I mean, those the houses and just there, it's very run down.
Have people moved there? The commute to Seattle?
Yeah. So more people are moving there, which is why it's starting to look nicer. So they are kind of doing a lot of improvements. It's turning into kind of a cute little suburb for people to live in that can't afford to live in Seattle anymore.
But it was filmed in 2016, this film. So I wonder, but even since then, it could have changed even more, you know, probably more developed.
All right. Well, that's our review of this film called Outside In by Lynn Shelton. And let's go ahead and give our ratings. What do you think, guys?
Go on, Carl, you first.
I'll give it 3.5.
And it's funny, I'm going to give it the same 3.5.
I'm going to go 4. I was leaning towards 3. I think a 3.5 is a fair. I just really try to avoid doing half stars. So it's definitely not a 3. I think, I don't know, there was just something about the pacing that didn't quite work for me, or there was just something about it, and that I think could have been fixed in an edit that probably would have made it a proper 4 stars. But I like Lynn Shelton. I saw one of her other movies called, now I got to look it up. I can't remember what it was actually called. Another film of hers that I would recommend is called Hump Day, and it's got Mark Duplass in it, and it's a really hilarious film. And so just being a fan of Lynn Shelton, I kind of got to go 4 stars.
It's funny, you kind of more or less in your review saying you didn't really like that film, but you still give it 4 stars, and I said I did like it, and I only gave it 3.5. Go figure. That's
true. You did sound more positive about your review.
Yeah.
Gave it a lower rating, and I sounded less positive
that's
about
not
mine.
low.
Gave it a higher rating.
That's kind of decent, you know.
No, I think 3 is fine. I think anything above 3 is considered a good rating.
But I really want to check out her other films. I'm curious now, because I know when I saw Little Fires Everywhere, which was amazing, adapted from a book, and she directed 1 or 2 episodes, but I really want to check her stuff out. So it's really sad.
Yeah, as a filmmaker, and it was cool too, because she did a lot of like mainstream TV series, but pretty much all of her movies are indie films. And I heard an interview with her once, and she was talking about that, and she's like, she does the TV stuff in order to pay to do the film stuff that she wants to do. And so it's kind of a fascinating career that she had. So it is really, because I think she probably would have kept making great films. But yeah, if you're looking for something, Claire, check out Hump Day. I think it was her first feature. I could be wrong on that. All right, audience. Well, there you go. You have it. So we liked it, and we would recommend it. And as always, you can let us know what you think via our social media channels, which are always at No Budget Show. You can share, like, comment, etc., etc. And with that, we will say goodbye and see you next time.